Hey, Wayne here, and today I'm riding the G100 from HappyRun. Let's check it out. Oh, I knew it was going to happen eventually. As with all my reviews, HappyRun has agreed to have no input into this review other than to answer any questions I may have while creating it. Okay, let's start off with some of the features of the G100. And then I'll let you know what I think near the end of the video, along with a quick assembly for those of you that are interested in seeing how to put this bike together. There's two ways to unlock this bike. It has an NFC card reader, and you can also use the SmartGoo app, companion app, to unlock the bike. Okay, to get started, you're going to press and hold the green S button for a couple seconds. The dash or display will flash, it'll light up. It's on, the bike is now on, but it is not ready to go. So you have to unlock it, which you can do by either this NFC card over the NFC card reader, or you can drag this on the app, which is called SmartGoo. I'll put the name down below for you in case you need to go get the app. You can slide that across to unlock it, but I'm going to start with the NFC card reader. Now it's unlocked and ready to go. I can now, on the app, I can lock it or I can unlock it. So a few things that are different here is with the app, you get 80%. You can see what the battery level is, which right now it's 80%. Right here, you get bars. You can change the level. So it's at 0 right now. You could change it to wherever you want. We'll put it on 4. Changes to 4. I'm going to put it back to 0 so we don't actually accidentally move the bike. Let's see, what else you got? You have single mileage, real-time mileage, and total mileage. I'm going to scroll up a little bit. Quick set, control unit set. You can tap that and change it from kilometers to miles like I did, or leave it on kilometers. Cruise doesn't do anything for me right now. I'm not sure why. Smart mode, right now, the bike will take off if I throttle and I'm on mode 1 through 5. So if I'm on mode 1 through 5 and I throttle, it will take off. If I press this button, the only way it will take off is I have to pedal it first, get it going, then I can throttle and keep going. So I don't really like that mode. I leave it like set like that so that I can just take off with the throttle. Then you got some other stuff here, recording, riding record. So here's me riding up and down the street a few times. So I like that. You can record your ride. Let's see what else you got. You got vehicle positioning. So it's kind of like a find my keys or whatever you want. It has that for the bike, which is pretty cool. And vehicle info. Testing time, 17 minutes, 21 seconds. I can reset it, and everything is green. Everything is good. So everything for this bike is good. So that is kind of about it for the app. I do and don't like apps. What I do like about apps is that you get more information usually, and you can unlock things through them. The thing I don't like about apps is sometimes if companies go out of business, the app goes and you lose that part of the functionality. But fortunately here, if the app ever did go, you wouldn't lose anything with the bike because everything is really, there's really nothing extra to unlock with the app. So that's the app. The G100 comes in 3 different colors: yellow, blue, and black. So the G100 also comes with 2 batteries. Got one on top and you got one on the bottom. They work independently of each other, and there is an off and on switch for the bottom battery right here, as well as another switch inside that allows you to switch between the top battery and the lower battery. By having both batteries, HappyRun claims that you should get up to about 85 miles. Of course, that's going to depend on how hard you're riding, weight, the road, uphill, downhill, all that kind of stuff. The top battery is a 48 volt, 20 amp hour battery, and the lower battery is a 48 volt, 18 amp hour battery. When it comes to charging, it can take up to 6 to 8 hours, so make sure you give yourself plenty of time before you go riding. As I said earlier in the video, that there's a switch underneath the seat for the 2 batteries, allowing you to switch between the top and bottom. In the instructions, it says that Roman numeral 1 is for the top battery, while Roman numeral 2 is for the lower battery. On my bike, it's switched. Roman numeral 2 is for the top battery, and Roman numeral 1 is for the lower battery. The G100 comes with a 1,000-watt rear hub motor that peaks out at 2,000 watts and has 95 Newton meters of torque. That makes for a pretty powerful bike. While I wasn't able to test it, HappyRun says that the G100 can handle a climbing angle of 30 degrees. For gearing, the G100 has a 7-speed Shimano system. So HappyRun says that the bike has a top speed of 38 miles per hour. I did my own test. I'm going to do a quick test right now, but to do this, you have to run it with the top battery. So I'm going to switch over to the top battery. And then make sure you're in the top mode, fifth mode. And but in my test, I was able to max out at somewhere between 32, 34. So yeah, you have to be on a full battery. You need to be on a full battery, full charge, 5th mode, top battery. 25, 26, 27, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, it's holding at 34. You know, maybe that has something to do with my weight. I'm not sure, but that's as high as I can get it to go. So I am about 4 miles per hour short of the max 38, which is still really, really good. It's a gradual speed. It ramps up not super fast, but it does get up there. And it is one of the fastest bikes I've ever ridden. So again, they claim 38, I got it up to 34. Keep in mind, if you're in that 5th mode, top battery or either battery, and you're fully throttled out, you're gonna burn that battery up pretty quick. So like, I've already dropped down 1 bar during that speed test. I did 2 speed tests, and it dropped down to 1 bar. One other thing that I wanna mention is that when I got my bike, I couldn't get it over the 28 mile per hour range, and I had to do an unlock. So I'm gonna put a video up right now to show you how to do that in case you need to. Okay, according to HappyRun, to unlock this bike so that you can reach a top speed of up to 38 miles per hour, for me it's 34, is you press the green button here to start the bike. I think you have to use the NFC card reader to unlock it. And then once you do that, to fully unlock it, you squeeze the brake lever 5 times. And that should switch it from the default, which is under the up to 38 mile per hour range. So give that a try if your bike isn't going fast enough, and that should help you out. Tires are 20 by 4-inch puncture resistant inflatable tires. They seem to work pretty well. I've been running over all kinds of things that have dropped out of trees, and I've been hearing little pops here and there, but the tires are doing well. And since we're talking about tires, this bike also comes with 2 fenders. The front is pretty standard, like most e-bikes. It's got a plastic front fender, but the rear fender, look at that. It's a nice, shiny carbon fiber rear fender. Looks really cool. For brakes, we've got front and rear hydraulic brakes. They seem to work pretty well. I've had no issues with them. They seem to stop pretty good. I'm gonna pull on them kind of hard there. Yeah, they hold up pretty good. Not a very scientific test, but you get the point. It has front and rear suspension, which seems to work pretty good. So yeah, not bad. The G100 can handle up to 400 pounds and riders between 5'3" and 6'5". Yeah, so for lights, we've got a front headlight, and we have turn signals in the front, we have turn signals in the back, we've got a brake light. I'm gonna throw a video up real quick to show you how the lights work. Okay, when you first turn your bike on, you'll get that white light. It's like a ring. It's sort of like just a parking light or a running light. But if you want to turn your headlight on, press and hold this top button on the controller or tap it, and your front light turns on. Now, you also have turn signals. You have a right and a left. And if you want to use them at the same time, you can, sort of like an emergency light. The rear turn signals do the same thing. And let's see, I'm going to turn all of this off. If you want to use the horn, you have a horn button down below. And that's it for this controller here. The brakes work like any other brakes, but keep in mind that when they're engaged, they shut off the motor. The G100 has a waterproof rating of IP54, which means that it's pretty good against light dust and light water sprays from any direction. The seat is non-adjustable. It's a little bit stiff, not the most comfortable I've been on, but that's personal preference. The weight of the bike is about 107 pounds, so it's a pretty heavy bike. And that's mostly because of the dual batteries. You could take the top one off. The bottom one, I don't think comes off. Yep, the bottom battery is also removable. So let's go over some pros and cons. Some pros is, if you like the way motorcycles look, then you're gonna like this bike because it looks a lot like a motorcycle. Like most bikes, it's really fun to ride. I really like the front and rear shocks. It doesn't ride bad, it rides pretty good. Now when I first got the bike, I gotta say, I didn't like it. As you can see, the pedals are too far ahead, causes you to pedal too high with your knees. So this bike isn't really great for pedaling, but it's a lot of fun for throttling. I gotten used to the pedaling, but yeah, it's not really that much fun for pedaling. It's a little bit more fun to just throttle. So, but you know, if you get in a jam, batteries die, you can pedal it like any other bike. It's one of the fastest e-bikes I've ever ridden. At 34 miles per hour, it's a gradual climb to that, but the top speed is one of the fastest I've ever been on. You've probably noticed there is a cargo space area right here. I'm not sure you can put a lot in there, but it's nice to have, so that's another pro. It's got a nice bright headlight. Turn signals are really cool. A lot of e-bikes don't come with that. I think they should all come with that. So front and rear turn signals, and being able to use them as an emergency light, that's pretty cool too. As for cons, one of the things I didn't like about this bike is where the pedals are placed, and that my knees have to go so high when I ride, and that the seat's not adjustable. But for this style of bike, I get it. So after a while, I got used to it. Now it's like any other bike to me, except I prefer to throttle than pedal. If you're getting a bike for both just riding around and having fun and pedaling to get maybe some exercise, this might not be the bike for you. You might want to just get this if you're a person that really likes to just throttle everywhere you go. But keep in mind, that will burn up the battery faster too. The seat could be a little softer. It's my own personal preference. You may like them stiffer than I do, but I prefer a more softer seat. But again, now that I've been riding it for a while, seat doesn't bother me anymore. I guess you can get used to anything. So my thoughts on this bike is that it is a really fun bike to ride. It handles very well. The throttle is pretty cool. Dual batteries, I really like that. You get a little extra mileage out of it. I like the turn signals on it. Pedal-wise, not that crazy about it, but it doesn't bother me like it did when I first started riding it. I've gotten used to that. So overall, this is a pretty cool bike. It's not priced that high. I'm going to have a link down below that you guys can use. You could check out my affiliate link. It doesn't cost you anything extra to use. And sometimes they come with discounts. So if this style of bike is for you and you like this kind of look, then check out my affiliate links down below. Get out there and ride, and I will see you on the next one. Okay, if you're still here, then that means that you've already bought the bike, or you want to see what you're in for when it comes time to install everything on the bike. I went ahead and did the pedals and the handlebar because those are pretty standard. The only thing to keep in mind with the pedals is make sure you put the right on the right side, which goes clockwise when you screw it on, and the left side goes counterclockwise when you screw that on to the left side. And they're clearly marked, so they have stickers on them for the right and the left. The handlebars is really easy. You just unscrew this little plate here and then put the handlebar in and screw it back on, make adjustments, tighten it up. So what I am going to show you is the display, the front light, turn signals in the front, brake light with turn signals in the back. This tire and wheel is going to be mounted on, but this is where it's a little different than other bikes. You're going to install the 160 millimeter brake rotor, which you can see right here. So this rotor, it comes with an extra one like it that's going to go up front and in between the brake pads. So I'm going to show you that. And the kickstand we're going to go over, and the front and rear fenders. Oh, and the battery. So there's a bottom battery and a top battery. Top battery has to be mounted. So I'm going to show you all of that. And I think that is it. Yeah. So let's go over it. Okay, before I mount the wheel to the bike, I'm going to install the 160 millimeter rotor. I like to use gloves when I'm handling these because I don't want to corrupt anything on the surface. Now, if you don't have any tools, don't worry. HappyRun supplies you with this little bag and a whole bunch of little tools, pretty much everything you'll need. But what they don't give you is anything to torque the screws back on with. So you don't have to do this. You could just, do a good job of tightening them up and check them every once in a while. But if you want to do it right, you can get something like this, which is a little torque screwdriver, and it will do it between 4, 5, and 6 Newton meters. I'm going to probably tighten these up to either 5 or 6 to be safe. And I'll put links down below to tools that I'm using that might not be included. Okay, so first you're going to remove the existing screws, and they all have Loctite on them, so they're not bolted all the way down. This keeps it nice and easy for you to get them off, and then when you screw them back on, that Loctite should kick in. Now, there is a washer here that you might want to get out of your way, so I'm going to take all this off. And just remember, it's the one with the little clip on it goes first, inward, then your regular washer, and then the nut. And another note, when you're putting these on and you're about to tighten it down, you should go like crisscross. So start here, then here, then here, then here, then here, then here, just to keep everything nice and even. Okay, in case you're interested in using this tool here for adjusting the torque when you screw these back in, I left this one loose, and I have it set to 6 Newton meters of torque, and I'm just going to go ahead and tighten it on here, and you'll hear there's a satisfying click when you've got it right where you want it. And that's it. Okay, before installing the wheel into the front of the bike, you're going to want to remove this yellow tab right here. Just put your finger underneath there and just pull it out. Okay, now if you like, you can put the washers and the nut that we took off earlier back on. Make sure that they're spread out. They're on both sides, so make sure that you loosen this as far as you can without taking it off, and slide the nut and washer out so that you can fit the stud onto the frame of the bike. Now, personally, I like to just remove these and leave them off on both sides here and the rear or the other side, because you're going to have to also get the brake rotor to slide in between the brake pads, which is also mounted on the frame of the bike. And to me, they just kind of get in the way, so I think it's easier if you just remove them and then put them back on after you have everything lined up. Okay, so this may not be the best view, but this is the front brake caliper with the pads wide open. So while I put the front wheel onto the bike, I slid it in through this bottom hole here on the front fork and through the open brake pads. And next I will place the washer with the little arm pointing downward, put the flat washer on, then put the nut back on and tighten it up using your 15 millimeter supplied wrench from HappyRun. And then what you can do after this is don't tighten it too much till you get the other side going, but you can raise the bike back up, put the kickstand down, and then repeat the same steps for the washers on the other side. Tighten it all up and we'll move on from there. Okay, to install this kickstand, you're going to want to remove these two screws. And then once you have those off, you're going to place the kickstand behind this plate right here and screw them back in. And that's all there is to it for the kickstand. Okay, the front fender is really easy to install, one of the easiest that I've ever come across. So you just need to unscrew this piece right here, and then you might have to separate this or pull this apart just a little bit to get it to fit here. But let's see, once you do, you just slide it on. And one of the things that makes it so easy is that a lot of e-bikes you have to install the front fender and the light together at the same time, but not this one. So this one you just slide the screw back through, put the nut on the other end, and tighten it down. And you can adjust it height-wise if you want it up higher. Just make sure it's out of the way of the front tire, and you're good to go. Before installing your headlight and turn signal, I realized something here when I was looking at it. I noticed that this rubber part should be under these arms for the light and turn signal. So I've already taken this side off. I'm going to just place it back on over it and then put the nut and screw through, tighten it back down. So do that to both sides, and then you'll be ready to move on to installing the turn signals and then the headlight. To install the turn signals, you're going to remove this nut, slide it off the cable, take the cable, go back through this frame here, slide it on, put the nut back through, and then tighten it back up. Now, you can finger tighten it at the beginning, and in the end, take your wrench, 15 millimeter, line it all up. 1 or 2 turns should be enough. You don't want to over tighten because you don't want to break the plastic back here. Repeat the same step on the other side and then move on to the headlight. Actually, just before going on to the next step with the headlight, take these two pieces here, the cable from the turn signal and this cable up here, line them up. They have arrows pointing to each other, so you can just line those up. That way you don't mess the pins up on the inside. Okay, for the front light, make sure you plug in the cable and then start mounting the light to the frame. I went ahead and did the other side to make things a little quicker. It's tricky. This rubber washer goes against the light, then this frame slides in, and then the outer part slides over that, and then you want to feed the screw through and tighten it all down. So that can be a little bit tricky. You'll probably drop the washer quite a few times, but that's all there is to it. Get that in there, tighten it up, make sure that you have it set the way you want it, and that will be it for the headlight. Before moving on, make sure to go back and tighten these down as much as you can. Each bracket, you don't want this moving while you're riding, so go back and tighten that up. For the rear brake light, go ahead and remove these two nuts and slide it right on to the rear bracket and put the nuts back on. For this rear brake light, I actually had to go back into my toolbox and find a 5/16 wrench to tighten it up in the back. The last part of the brake light install, don't forget to attach the cable. Just like all the rest, there are arrows pointing on each side to each other. So line those up and press it together and you're good to go. Okay, it's time to install the rear fender. Okay, from the bottom of this bracket, go ahead and remove these two screws. Take this bracket, line it up with this plate down on the bottom here. Place the screws through, and you can go ahead and get it finger started. And once you get them both in, go ahead and tighten them down, and then you can move up to the top for the actual fender install. Make sure to tighten this down good. This is all metal to metal, so you don't have to worry about any of the plastic parts breaking by over tightening. Just go ahead and give it a good tight fit. The fender is super easy to connect. Just remove these two screws. Place it right here on the other side of this bracket. Line up the holes and screw it back in. And that's all there is to that. So go ahead and get that done, and I'll show you the finished product next. So this is what it looks like when it's done. Make sure you go back and tighten everything on here. These arms can move, so you can kind of adjust it a little bit, but they came a little bit loose. I would tighten all of them down, or check them, double check them, and make sure that they are tight. Maybe after a good ride, go back over them and double check them again to make sure they are staying tight. They have Loctite on them, but just to be safe, I would tighten them down. Okay, now we're going to install the display, and the mounting screws are behind the display on this plate. Just remove them, place the display on top of the mounting bracket, put the screws back in and tighten it down. So the cables for the display are color-coded, green to green, and then the next one will be black to black. So now it's time to make a couple of adjustments here. The display is facing, the way I had it, is facing really low, so wouldn't be able to see it too well. To fix that, you just want to loosen these 4 bolts up on the front here for the handlebar and move it up until you get it to a good position where you can see it. And that will also help with the brake levers, because they were kind of pointing up a bit too high. So this looks pretty good. I may loosen these and drop these down a little bit more so they're more in an angle like this. But for now, I'm just going to tighten this back up because I like where the display is at. To install the battery, place the battery on top of the rack or the track. Turn the battery key to unlock and then pull it. And make sure it snaps in. Your G100 should come with 2 sets of keys and these NFC cards to start your bike. Make sure that you don't lose these keys. And another thing would be to jot down the key number. Each key has a number. That way, if you do lose them, you can contact HappyRun to replace them. Otherwise, you're going to have a tough time replacing them. Also, be aware that when I received mine, the top key batteries were in the bottom key bags. So they had the keys switched and put in the wrong bags. Also, HappyRun, if you're watching, the number 2 key says of button battery. I think you mean bottom battery. So you might want to correct that. Okay, now that you have everything fully assembled, make sure that you go back over everything one last time before taking that ride and check your lights, your wheel, your brakes, your handlebars, your display is in a good place. Make sure everything's nice and tight. Make sure your tires are properly inflated and that you have full charges on your batteries. Check your rear fender. Make sure everything is just nice and tight and where you want it to be. And get out there and ride. And I'll see you on the next one.